just checking in on Facebook, and I'm going live. I'm excited to be here. I was just thinking that along my journey, there have been things that have helped me evaporate shame from myself. So, welcome. And I wanted to share with you a few things. You know, I remember as a child that when people looked at me or I did something wrong, like I would go red from my chest, patchy red all the way up. It was like my insides were clinging onto me and I was disappearing in these layers of shame. I felt so embarrassed to be me on so many levels. And as I have studied and done psychology, integral theory, attachment therapy, brain spotting, as I've done various studying, I've come to know the things that made me feel embarrassed to be me. And slowly over time, I've shifted. So I want to tell you the 4 biggest things that have helped me to evaporate, the 4 biggest insights that helped me to evaporate shame. Growing up, I was told that I was lazy and stupid and too direct. Did anybody else have that? It just made me feel so wrong in myself. And now I can look back and I just want to give little me such a big hug and let me know, it's not your fault. Now, as an adult, I came to see that I have neurodiversity. And so it wasn't that I was lazy or messy or stupid or direct. It was that the education system didn't match my brain. So it wasn't just me. There were others of us too, but I wasn't just messy or lazy or stupid. I was also creative, intuitive, empathic, and those things were not valued. So because I couldn't get up or respond when I was told to do something or I didn't do it right and I was shouted at for not getting it right, it wasn't just my fault. It was the way that my brain processed things. And when I'm around people who understand that and see me, and when I create a life around me that honors who I am, then I can do things. And I'm not lazy or just, maybe I am messy. Messy would probably be the one that I really am. I'm not stupid either. Even though I was in the bottom class at times and I was put into a little box because I was so distracted, that was hypervigilance. That wasn't because I was naughty or bad. And it really shifted how I perceived myself. So that's number 1. When I realized that there's neurodiversity in me, have any of you suddenly realized as an adult that you are probably neurodiverse? It has been life-changing for me. So that's the first one. The second one that really helped me is as I was processing trauma I had gone through, I came across the Polyvagal Theory. Hands up if you know it. The Polyvagal Theory really helped me to understand what was going on inside of me. When I was going through trauma, I'd drop my kids off or I'd see a client and then suddenly I'd just sit there staring at a wall. And I just thought I was incompetent. I was useless. In fact, my kids' dad and my mom had said to my kids, your mom is just useless and pathetic and lazy. And my daughter literally said she'd like a new mother, please. And then, it just made me feel so ashamed when my daughter said, oh, Mom, can you please take us to a shop where they have good mothers because I'd like to replace you. Bless her that she'd heard this stuff about me from other people and just thought, it wouldn't be nice to have a better mother than this. But when I learned about the dorsal vagus nerve from the polyvagal theory, I got to see that when we're in a state of overwhelm, trauma, we can shut down. And that's the dorsal vagus nerve clicks in as a survival mechanism and it immobilizes us to protect us. And when I could understand that, and through Peter Levine's work of how to untrigger yourself with bilateral stimulation. Suddenly I could move out of those states. And I got to see it was nothing to be ashamed of. It was just that I had had trauma. And that's why I was impacted by it. So that's the second thing, is the dorsal vagus nerve. And when I knew that, and for so many clients that I work with, when they understand that their immobilization, their shutdown is not a choice. It's not a choice that we do that. It is, it's an automatic function of the nervous system to protect us and keep us surviving. So it's a natural, normal thing. And when we can unhook ourselves, we can get through it. Knowing that, all the shame evaporated, that, oh God, I'm not just useless and pathetic. My body is just going into this automatic shutdown to protect myself. So then when I could learn how to do that differently, I could shift into having compassion for myself rather than making myself wrong. The third thing that really helped me shift out of shame was understanding adult development. In adult development, I could see that our brains only have capacity for different things at different stages. So I was looking at other people going, I'm not like that. I'm not good enough. I'm useless, until I realized that there are different values and complexities in our brain structure that we can improve through meditation, through therapy, through shadow work, through integration, through processing with people and developing new skills. And then I was more empowered to be able to break through, rather than just thinking I am useless. When I understood that 58% of people are at that stage where we struggle to separate, we struggle to set boundaries or saying no because we don't want to hurt somebody, because our loyalty is so strong, then I could have empathy for myself, understanding, no, it's not that you're a bad person. It's just that stage of development. And maybe at times I would progress and then swing down again into that where I was people pleasing and putting other people first, and then realizing, oh no, when we're in stress, we go back. If this is something that you are interested in, if you're on Instagram, check the link in my bio. And if you're on Facebook, I'm going to be doing a training on Sunday night, going into the stages of development from childhood to adulthood, looking at what is going on, what was the love that we needed so that we love ourselves. Then the fourth thing that really helped me alleviate shame was understanding what is abuse, what is toxic behavior, and how it makes you feel. When you grow up in where you are criticized, made wrong, when you are ignored and you are scapegoated, you begin to feel that you are damaged, that who you are as a human being is bad and wrong. And that's not the truth. The truth is, if you had loving, connected, empathetic, safe, cherishing relationships in childhood, you would not feel bad about yourself in that way. You would feel loved. So then I could understand that, oh, I'm feeling that way because of how I was treated. So if I can change how I treat myself, then life will change. So that shifted something in me and made me think, okay, I want to shift and learn the skills to love so that I don't feel ashamed about who I am. If you are also wanting to break through and stop feeling that you are bad, that you're ashamed, I'm running a training on Sunday night, UK time. So that's 6 a.m. Sydney, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 11 a.m. Pacific, which is the love that you needed to reparent yourself now so that you feel good about yourself and you know the skills to love. We'll be going through the stages of development, even from conception, because there's some juicy things that I want to share in that, all the way through to adult development. So not only will you understand where you are now, but you'll understand the stages beyond you. So you have a goal of where you headed to in your life and what are the skills that you need to get there, so that you're not in the dark, just feeling ashamed of who you are and going, I'm a bit lost in this. You'll gain the skills to know how to love yourself as you're growing, It will give you the guidance of understanding where you are and where you are going, and how to love yourself along that journey. I'd love to have you with us. So I'll just quickly repeat for the folk who've just joined us the 4 things that I shared that alleviated shame. 1, understanding neurodiversity and looking at the ableism that has been impregnated into me to make me feel bad about myself. 2, understanding the nervous system, that when I shut down or go into hypervigilant, where I'm critical to myself, that's because of the nervous system that is trying to keep me in survival. And it's automatic. It's not my fault that it's doing that. It's just an automatic shift inside of me to protect myself. The 3rd thing was the adult stages of development, understanding that when we're stressed, we go into lower stages of development. So we might act like a child, or we might act like a teenager. We go to frequently in stress, we go to where we were traumatized. And so I could feel less ashamed of myself. And then thirdly, understanding the impact of abuse and toxicity, so that I knew that it's not me that's bad. It's not me that should feel ashamed at all. It's that I was hurt, and when I was treated like that, that's how it impacted me, leaving me feeling like I was bad and wrong, and that I didn't matter and shouldn't be alive. And in learning the skills to love, I've been able to be so much kinder and have so much more compassion to myself. And when I feel ashamed and bad about myself, I'm able to look and go, what is going on here? What's happening, so that I can love myself through this? I want that kindness for you too. You know, I screw up at times. I screw up a lot. But along the way, I'm learning to be kind to myself and empathetic and loving and caring. And I want that for you too. So come along and join. If you're on Instagram, the link's in the bio. And if you're on Facebook, the link is restoring.love/love21. Come and join us on Sunday. It's going to make such a difference to your life, to understand where you are, where you're going, and what's the love that you need to make that journey loving, kind, and cherishing of you. All right, I look forward to seeing you on the training. Sending you loads of love.